begin my speech in 3, 2, and 1. So to get from their side of the house, they tell us about things like our side of the house does not show like we are going to make this sensitization realistic because we are living the people in the communities, and now we can understand that from our side of the house we tell you that we are going to make our sensitization realistic in that we are not only going to promote it in schools, but we are also going to bring it in on the grounds to teach the people who are outside schools on how they can conserve the environment and also educate them on the dangers of destroying the environment. Another thing they talked about is poverty, that these people have gone on to destroy the environment because they don't have money, so they go to carry out charcoal burning and so on in order to get money. But what we tell you from our side of the house is that our environmental education is not only going to focus on teaching these people how they can conserve the environment and teach them on the dangers that come as a result of destroying the environment, but we're also going to educate these people on how they can make money but without destroying the environment in this sense of environmental education, in that we are going to teach them about things like poetry, agroforestry, so that they can earn a living but without destroying the environment. Can understand that, as my first speaker said, our major problem in the status is the irreversible climate change. For example, in Uganda, we have experienced this in terms of the prolonged drought in many parts, for example, in Kasese and northern Uganda, and this has actually affected the production of cash crops, leading to decline in the exportation of these cash crops to the foreign countries. And due to this decline, the government is now getting low revenue and therefore it's unable to provide the necessary social services to the people. This has resulted into poor standards of living for the people and low development. And the other thing is that this irreversible climate change, in terms of like deforestation, swamp drainage, has destroyed the natural habitats for the wild animals. And this has led to decline in the tourism industry. And because of this decline, the government is unable to get revenue to provide the necessary social services to the people, and thus leading to development. Now, what we get from our side of the house is that this problem of the irreversible climate change has come as a result of lack of awareness among the public on how they can conserve the environment. Understand that the people do not know the dangers that are associated with the environmental degradation. That's why they go on to destroy the environment. Now, our resolution from our side of the house is that we are going to prioritize this environmental education over economic education, in that we are going to bring this environmental education on ground. For example, we are going to make realistic sensitization and educate the people that are outside schools on how they can conserve the environment, and also teach them on how they can make money without destroying the environment, and also teach them on the dangers that are associated with environmental degradation, so they're not going to destroy the environment. The other thing is that we are going to prioritize environmental education in schools, in that we are going to introduce new environmental-based subjects and make them mandatory for all learners from all learners in all levels, and also empower these subjects that are existing. For example, geography, we put more content in the syllabus of such subjects so that they can teach people about environmental conservation. Understand that we are not going to eliminate this economic education, because we need to have a good economy. Therefore, besides prioritizing the environmental education, we are going to still have the economic education through clubs, whereby we are going to create clubs in schools and teach the learners on how they can maximize, on how they can get money. Now, what we tell you from our side of the house is that this is going to be implemented by the government, and this government is going to get money from international organizations that focus on environment conservation and sustainability, for example, UN. Another thing that you should understand is that in environmental education, we are going to teach people on how they can conserve the environment but while making money. Therefore, they will have the money required to carry out the environmental conservation, for example, tree plant, for example, buying tree seedlings. And what you should understand is that without environmental conservation, our economy cannot stand, because Uganda depends on agriculture. I rest my case.